What's up, dudes? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are theorizing a country called Hungary. You already know the drill? Let's dissect the flag. The Hungarian flag makes a lot of symbols. The red represents that it used to be a part of the Warsaw Pact, but not anymore. And the white represents peace and prosperity for the land of Hungary. And the green represents the grass. Kind of the way it sounds. And then the coat of arms of Hungary on top is a crown, meaning that it used to be a constitutional monarchy, and right there, the red and white used to be a part of the old flag, and that one right there is a double cross. I don't know what it is. And it also used to be a part of the old flag, and then there's a crown on the bottom and grass on the bottom of the cross. However, the country is located in Slavic nations bordering Ukraine, Romania, Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia, Austria, and it's a part of the European Union, and it's a democratic nation throughout the land of Hungary. And it used to be part of the Roman Empire right there. There's the land right there. And right there is Attila, the King of Huns, 444, 444, 453. And Italian Franco-Hungarian War, shooting backwards. And Hungarian conquest of the Captran Basin, painted by Male Vakezi. Hungarian raids in the 10th century, but look at all that land, and even touched the sea at some point. And King Stephen, the first king of Hungary, converted to a nation of Christianity. The Holy Crown St. Corolla is the only key of the symbols of Hungary. Jesus, the partner of the Holy Crown of Hungary. Hungary is the traditional of a Christian country. A map of the lands ruled by Louis the Great. Look at all those lands. And it has some small coasts at some point. And Western colonizers and modern converters, and even touched the sea at some point, maybe. Painting of communist siege after a major victory against the Ottomans. Francis I, the second leader of the uprising against Habsburg rule, 1703 to 1711, Count Avian offered 1 year income to establish the Hungarian Academy of Science. Lajos Kőrös reigned the president during the Hungarian Revolt in 1848. Lands of a crown of a St. Stephen colonized of territories the Kingdom of Hungary, 16 in the Kingdom of Croatia and Slovenia. In July 5th, 1848, the opening ceremony of the first parliament, which was based on the popular reparation of members of the first responsible government on this balancy. Coronation of the first Francis Joseph I and Elizabeth Annie Martin Buddha in June 8, 1867. Hungarian built the Dreadnought on the battleship and SMS run of arms during World War I. After World War I, within the Treaty of Hungary, Hungary lost 72% of its territory and seaports and 3,425,000 ethnic Hungarians. Most Hungarian areas are according to 1910 and declared of Hungary. Martyr Hungary, reign of the Kingdom of Hungary, 1920 and 1944. And there's a map of Kingdom Hungary, 1941 to 1944. And World War II happened, and the Holocaust, and lots of tragic days in history of the world. The Central Bridge in Budapest Castle ruins after World War II, 1946, and destroying the Soviet Chink during the 1956 revolution. Jakob, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Hungary. In 1991, it became a democratic nation and a part of the EU, and sheeps and everything else, and done under president since 2012, and Viktor prime minister since 2010, and Sador Palace, residence of the president of Hungary, Hungarian Parliament building in Budapest, and the current and National Assembly of Hungary list of 199 people. Some say it might be 200 one day. The original and future seat of a court, the highest court in Hungary, and counties of Hungary in 2020, but Budapest is the largest county by population, not by size. Coats of arms of the county are everywhere. You can see them everywhere in everything in every single county you went in Hungary. And meeting a fundraising group, leaders put in Germany and France in 2013. The United Nations from the Hall of House in Margaret's in the House Parliament has its own military, jets, and it's a part of the European Union, democracy, and all that stuff. Bridges and history. It's just very, very cool to see about that. And hundreds of churches and districts in Hungarians dominate mostly in Romania, Ukraine, Slovakia, Austria, Slovenia, and some parts of Croatia, Serbia. Like all of its neighbors are Hungarian. Some parts are Hungarian, and King Saint Stephen or Virgin Mary, and all that stuff goes on and on and on. And it never gets old with some stuff. And foods. These are delicious food, and I wish I can try them out. There's sports, arenas, and 20th century history. However, first of all, their anthem is Hungarian English hymn. So, you want to listen to it? Sure, let's go. 3, 2, 1. That's cool. That's cool. I'll give this anthem a 6 out of 10. Quite smooth. And, however, the capital and largest city is Budapest, Hungary, and their official language is Hungary, and their ethnic group is mostly Hungarian, 94.2% of the population, in fact. Romanian are 3.2%, 1.8 Germans, 0.8 not in the ethnic group. And then most of their religion is Christianity, 54.3% of the population. Roman Catholicism in 39%, Protestantism in 11%, and other Christians religions are 3.5%, no religion 18%, and other religions 0.3%, and 27.2% has no answer at all. And however, the Speaker of the National Assembly of Lazio Kovra, and it's been Speaker since 2010, and the Principle of Hungary was founded in 895, and the Christian Kingdom of Hungary was formed in 1000, and the Golden Bluff of 1222 in April 24th, and Battle of Majaras in 1526, the liberation of Buda in 1686, and then Revolution of 1848, starting in 1848. Austro-Hungarian Empire was created in 1867, and then Treaty of Tara in 1920, Third Republic in 1989, and joined the European Union in 2004, and it has its new constitution of 2012. However, their area is 93,000 130 kilometers, or 35,920 square miles, making it 108th. Their population is 9,730,000, making it 91st. And their density is 105 kilometers, or 271.9 square miles, making it 78th place. And their GDP is $316.342 billion, making it 53rd. And their per capita is 32,434, making it 41st on the list. And their GDP total is $149.939 billion, making it 53rd. And per capita is $15,373, making it 45th place. And their GNI is low, 28.3%, and their HDI is very high at 0.854, and their currency is francs, and their time zone is UTC1, CET, and CEST in the summertime, and their date form and their driving zone is right. And speaking of democracy, let's talk about the election of 1844. It's not that long because it's very much of a landslide election, like the last one, William Henry Harrison. But this is a different candidate. And a different party that had won. Let's get into it. In 3, 2, 1, go. The 15th presidential election in American history took place from Friday, November 1st to Wednesday, December 4th, 1844. It was the last presidential election that was held in different days in different states. All of the future presidential elections will be held in a single day. President John Tyler has taken office after William Henry Harrison died, but he remained the odds, and with the Whig Party actually stopped supporting him, and so the Democratic Party, his old party at odds with both of major political parties in the country, he tried to start a third-party movement for re-election, hoping that many who agreed with him of the annexation of Texas would support him. The Texas annexation issue would both divided the country, but the Democratic Party, Martin Van Buren, originally a Jew in the Democratic nomination in 1844, he was against the annexation of Texas. However, many influenced some Democrats, like U.S. Secretary of State John Calhoun and former Vice President Andrew Jackson, wanted Texas to be as a Democrat, so national convention. The three nominees were disputed at first. Van Buren, James Buchanan, and a U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania, Louis Cass, ambassador to France. Then, suddenly, out of nowhere, James Polk, the former governor of Tennessee, the Speaker of the House, through Polk, had entered a convention hopping to vice president nominee. By the end of the convention, he was the most popular guy in the room, getting all the nomination. Yeah. Unfortunately, Polk famously first well known as a dark horse candidate, meaning before the election was known, George Dallas, a former U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania, was nominated as Polk's running mate. The fact the city of Dallas, Texas, was probably named after him. He might become a hint if he had won the election. The Whig Party had finally, against Texas annexation, abandoning John Tyler, the party went back original Henry Clay, a former U.S. Senator representing Kentucky. It was pretty much the leading of the Whig Party since the party began. Drew Clay had to run before the president and lost many times before. Things didn't seem going more his way in his modern time. Couldn't appeal in the southern slave owners who didn't want to annex Texas but make the land valuable. Slaves most expensive and the Northerners who didn't want slavery to expand west in 1840. The Whigs didn't quite as well as Harrison and Clay. Just a minute would be another blowout. The Whigs nominated Theodore Roosevelt, a former U.S. Senator from New Jersey, as his running mate. Things got a little more complicated when John Tyler dropped out of the running for re-election. He threw support of Polk, who also abolished the Liberty Party, and activist James Burney, again another former U.S. Senator from Tom Morris, who is from Ohio, as his running mate. Burney has support growing since 1840, worried that the Northern Whigs might vote for him instead of Clay. So Clay was confident that he would win at first. When draw near, Polk had growing support. Polk had manifest destiny on his belief, and was the United States' destiny explained on the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Polk wanted to expand the country's borders wherever, whenever possible. And as more and more Americans seemed to agree with him, Polk not only adding Texas, but he also gonna add California and Oregon territory. The northern boundary between Oregon and Britain claimed as well. The latitude of 54 degrees and 50 minutes. Many of extreme supporters had slogan 54 to 40 of flight in hopes for Polk of the presidency, meant to getting all of Oregon. And here are our results. Manifest Destiny was proved to be popular. Unfortunately, that's why James Polk won, narrowly defeating Henry Clay in the 11th presidential election, becoming the 11th president of the United States. Polk received 170 electoral votes. Clay received 105 electoral votes, although the popular vote was much, much closer. Polk gained 49.5%, while Clay got 48.1%. 20% more Democrats came to getting this election compared to the 1840 election, while only 4% of Whigs came out. James Burney received 2.3% of the popular vote, which is much better than the 1840 election. George Dallas became the 11th vice president in American history. This was the only presidential election in which both the major party nominees the former Speaker of the House at age 49. Polk was the youngest president to become president up to that point in history. Polk promised to serve only one term and went straight to work. Within over a year, Polk got half of Oregon and took war in Mexico over in Texas after its annexation. 78.9% of the population voted in this election or cast a ballot. And that's it for videos. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you have a great day, an amazing day, and I'll see you next week.